Welcome to Infinity Capital, everyone. My name is Raj. So today we are going to analyze Banco products, and before we do that, we are going to look at some overall industry numbers. So to give you a short uh, understanding of the company, they make cooling systems, radiators, fuel coolers, oil coolers, condensers. So they basically make cooling systems for passenger vehicles and other industries as well. So before we dive deep into Banco products, let's take a overall view of what's happening in the passenger vehicle segment. So I'm just going to show you two important things before I show you other industry-wide data. So if you look at Banco's revenue mix, they get 35% of their revenue from India and 63% of their revenue from the rest of the world. So that is one thing to take a note of. Okay, let's look at the USA total automotive sales annually. Okay, these numbers are from 2005 till 2021, and what's interesting, if you'll see, the sales figure are already above 2019 numbers. So if you see, there was a dip in 2020. Now the sales figures are already above 2019 high. So car sales in USA are have crossed 2018 2019 highs. It's pretty much near 2018 high. There are multiple reasons for that. See, in the US, the interest rates are pretty low right now, and last year they had a lot of so the US government gave out money to each citizen. They were giving out this checks every week, so that is also sort of helping some sort of discretionary spending. Now let's look at the India numbers. I'm on the CM website, so you get all the auto data over here. So this is the number for 2020 2021, and so we have at least four more months to go before this fiscal year is finished. So 2019, the total passenger vehicle sales was around 33 lakhs. So this year it's around 27 lakhs. So on a percentage points basis, it is down by 20% roughly. However, we have 4 more months to go for this fiscal year. So I'm guessing we should be reaching around 30 lakhs or so, So even if we reach 30 lakhs, we'll pretty much be close to, this figure of 33 lakhs. And if you'll see, the sales sort of plateaued around 32 lakhs, and then they started coming down. That is also the reason why you'll see that most auto companies started underperforming since 2017 and 18, roughly from mid 17 onwards, right? So the sales are pretty encouraging, and this is the reason why I'm looking at Banco products. So we'll just go through some information on Screener. So company was incorporated in 1961. It's a very old company, right? And what they do is they make engine cooling modules, radiators, charged air coolers, fuel coolers, oil coolers, right? So they make copper brass coolers and aluminium coolers, which is used in passenger cars, light commercial vehicles, medium and heavy commercial vehicles, agricultural tractors, high performance bikes, harvesters, construction machineries, power generation equipment, traction locomotives, and so on and so forth. So they have a very diverse range of industries that they cater to. So who are the biggest consumers? Ashok Leyland, Eicher, Mahindra, Godrej, Indian Railways, and a few others, right? So 65% of its products go to OEMs, large OEMs, and aluminium radiator gets in 86% of the revenue. Copper radiators get 14% of the revenue. Again, this is what we saw on Tijori. 62% revenue comes from international, 38% comes from India. They have 5 manufacturing facilities, and their total capacity is around 3.3 million radiators. Okay. They have some subsidiaries. There is one in Netherlands, right? And NRF has 9 subsidiaries, 3 manufacturing facilities. So it has. This is more information about the subsidiaries than Banco Gaskets. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Banco Products engaged in manufacturing engine sealing systems. So this is what the company is all about. All right, let's do a bit deep dive and go through the credit rating. So they have around 23.5 crores of bank facilities, 1.5 crores of short-term bank facilities, around roughly 25 crores. The ratings are pretty good. CARE A1, CARE AA. So the ratings are good. Right now, we're just going to go through about the company and find out more information. So established in 61, Vadodara-based company, right? So they make radiators, intercoolers, oil coolers, and these are the industries: automobiles, agriculture, forestry equipment, locomotives, diesel engines, power generation, construction equipment, wind turbines, which means that they don't have dependability on one sector, and we'll get to know more how has this helped them. So they have a capacity of 3.3 million radiators, right? And 2010 they acquired this company called NRF for 17.7 million euros. Okay, so this company has a strong presence in European aftermarket sales for radiators and cooling systems, right? Okay, so now we get on to the interesting part here. Just a second, guys, let me just go through this. Okay, so what are the positive factors? Significant customer and product diversification, as we saw earlier, and provide greater cushion against impact of cyclicality, cyclicality in demand of its products, right? So this is what we saw earlier. They are catering to a diverse set of industries. What could be the risks in this company? So decline in profitability margins, right? Decline in scale of operations, and any large debt funded capex that they're doing. So the promoters have around 40 years of experience in the automobile and auto ancillary industry. So they're pretty experienced promoters. So what else? So Banco Products caters to demand from multiple end user industry, thus making it relatively less prone to being dependent on a single industry, right? So that is something good. What else? Just a second, guys. Just going through some important stuff. Okay, all right. Now we are going to go through the investor shareholding pattern. So promoters are holding 67-68%, and there are no FIIs or DIIs present. So that is something I like to see, but a huge chunk of promoter holding is pretty good, right? Okay, and cash flow, company has generated 157 crores of cash flow, record cash flows in 2021, right? Apart from that, they've been generating positive cash flow from operations continuously. And if we come to Tijori, interesting thing we'll get to know is their cash flow CAGR has been pretty robust. If you see 5 years, 10 years, their cash flow CAGR has been pretty robust. So that is an excellent thing. Let's look at the balance sheet. So they've shaved off the borrowings. 2020 they had borrowings of around 100 crores. They've shaved that off. So that has brought down their interest expense, which is extremely good. No dilution in equity. Excellent. They had some investments here, but they could have probably used it. They have around 52 crores of cash on the book, which is excellent. So they can use that, for any capex or whatever that they are planning to do. Right, their fixed assets are pretty much stable. So probably they are not intending to do any capex. So one thing that has happened is basically, if you see, their inventories have risen by more than roughly around 25%. This could have happened because of COVID as well. So once these inventories sort of get sold, that will bring in more money, more profitability to the company. Something that I will be basically keeping my eye on, right? So balance sheet looks pretty good. Let's look at the profit and loss. Interesting thing, guys, their sales are already above pre-COVID levels. This is the reason why I started looking at the company. Their margins are already above pre-COVID levels. Okay, so they are doing pretty good. Apart from that, they have done 150 crores of profits trailing 12 months. Last year they did 114 crores of profits. The profits have actually doubled as compared to last year. Their profits are coming at the highest, in the past 10 years, 10-12 years. If you see, they've posted highest profits ever. So this is pretty good, right? The current EPS is around 21. Okay, let's look at the quarter on quarter. So last quarter sequentially, their their profits came in at a higher clip, around 9%. Sales were also up around 20%. There is absolutely no deterioration in margin. So probably they are doing something right, considering the fact that the whole world is facing margin pressure. These guys are not facing any margin pressure is excellent. Okay, as compared to previous quarter, the sales and profit are higher. So this is excellent. This is also the reason why we our confidence in this stock has gone up. Okay, let's look at the chart. PE ratio, PE wise, stock is trading at a PE of 8. The median PE is around 11. All right, so assuming that even if it reaches a median PE of around 12 to 15 for an EPS of around 21, this stock should be should reach at least 252. The current price is 169, so it should reach at least 252. On the higher side, if it reaches a PE of 15, then it can reach 315 as well, right? So these are some projections that we are looking at. Okay, now let's look at the technical analysis of Banco products. So Banco products, here it is, guys. Let's look at the moving averages first. See, the blue line is the 200-day moving average. It's trending upwards. The red line is the 50-day moving average. So which is down obviously because stock has been correcting. Stock is down roughly around 25% from its recent high, 25-26% from its recent high. Okay, so the trend is up. Now let's look at a longer view as to what happened in the stock. So we are looking at the stock from 2010, right? So the stock did very well between 2013 and 2014, and then it was consolidating, and then it made a new high. Post that, the stock started correcting since Jan 18, and it went down by 80%. Okay, this was the time when a lot of companies were facing huge issues in terms of sales were deteriorating for the passenger car vehicles, and the cyclicality factor also came in. But the stock has made a quick recovery after the March crash, and it is up around 300%. Currently it is up around 200% or so, right? And so what are we looking at technically? This is the range. Basically this was the range that the stock was trading in, between 130 and basically 180. So the stock did try to sort of break out, but it couldn't sustain the prices, and it came down. So what could be the reason for that? If you see here, guys, this is the range in which the stock has traded from 16 to basically 18. So 2 years the stock traded between this level, and there are a lot of people who are stuck between this level. So whenever the stock is reaching, it is facing selling pressure. However, if you see over here, the selling pressure was pretty high. If you see, volume was pretty high, but now the selling pressure seems to have dissipated and it is falling on relatively lower volume. So we are going to take a calculated guess that the selling is sort of dissipating. So that is one. What is our strategy? So we are looking to accumulate the stock between this area, between 148 and 170. Stock is already trading pretty lower, but this is the range that we are looking to accumulate in. So there was this gap up. I see huge, this is the area of interest. If you see, the stock is pretty much trading in this range since February 21. Right. So, and December is a seasonally low month. So my guess is, the stock will probably be trading around here for the next 1 or 2 months also. So, we'll get good opportunity to accumulate this stock, so this is a good place between 140 and 170 is the area that we'll be looking to accumulate the stock. So we already have this stock at around 190 levels. Now I am buying more, I'll be buying more at these levels. So what sort of targets can we look at for this stock?
Trading connection
just
lost.
A second, guys. What sort of targets can we look at? So as I told you earlier, if we look here, the PE ratio, the median PE is around 12. Okay, so even if the stock reaches a median PE of 12, so 12 into EPS of 21, current EPS of 21, that is 252. So this is the first target that we are looking at is 252. Now apart from that, what do we have here? The stock is already, company is already posting new higher sales and higher profits. So my guess is that the sales and profit should grow by at least 10 to 15%. So if that happens, we could see the stock going much higher. So we if the re-rating happens, and if the PE gets to say around 15 or say 15, if the PE gets to 15, then on an EPS of 21 we can see 315, or if it gets to around 18-20 levels. So basically if we come here, the highest PE has been some 16-19 or probably 19-20 also. So if the earnings and profits keep coming in at a higher clip, we can see much higher profit, much higher prices as well. Sorry guys, the internet sort of disconnected in between. So technically, we are looking at, first target we are looking at is 250. And once it crosses this level technically, then, it will be, basically there will be no supply. So this stock can, continue to go up. So this is the short analysis, guys, and I'm extremely bullish on Select Auto ancillaries. So this is the short analysis. We hold this stock. This is not a buy sell recommendation, guys. This is just an educational video. So please consult your financial advisor before buying and selling any stock. Thanks a lot, guys.